Yeah. Alright. Welcome back to Super Sentai Review, episode number... Let's see. It is episode number 423. Yeah, I was planning to do this earlier, but I had to go out. But now, basically, we would do this, no problem. So, basically, 35 started off a arc that gets wrapped up. Well, mostly put with this particular set of episodes, because episode 40 begins the prologue to the endgame of the series, for King-Ohger. For 36-39, this is what's discussed here. Each one of these episodes is simply put, the Rangers liberating one of their countries. Now, they failed to do with Yama's country in episode 35. In episode 36, well, they go to Rand's country, and, well, the whole thing of this one is basically about marriage. Is basically, let's have a possibility of her getting married, and the candidates are Gira, Rita, Jerome, Kurogi is not here because he's out of the country, and a guy who was actually revealed to be Sebastian. Yep, it's actually his real face, because, well, it's basically all makeup. So yeah, it turns out that this Rand actually here doing this little marriage proposal thing, which involves dancing and all this other stuff. Yeah, it turns out this actually is not her. Nope, this is an imposter. Yeah, it's actually the former Prime Minister of the Bug Empire. He's the one responsible for the events of this episode. And it turns out he actually poisoned the doctor. So eventually they will get cured, and he's able to around the country, no problem. But in the case of the very next episode, 37, this one is a big Kuroki episode. Oh my god, this one's huge for him. Because, well, we got a lot of development for him. So, Goki is basically the one who killed Rand's parents. Well, at this point now, 17 years from the series. Yes, so he decided to revive the current Lord's predecessor. And she's bossing him around, despite the fact she is actually the master. And what he's doing, well, we actually reveal also something interesting. We also reveal the reason why that she was stockpiling all the rice. Oh, and the reason why? We actually have a little more detail on this. So it's revealed in a flashback that the reason why it was mentioned about early on in the series that he had overthrown because he was monopolizing on the rice. And it turns out the reason why this was because Godi had been poisoning the rice. And luckily they cut this on really early this time, like last time we had to burn it. And, well, she ended up eating the poison herself, and she later died. And of course, basically, Kurogi was later proclaimed in the flashback the new Lord by his own sister, because of course she's dead, and because she was portrayed like an evil villain anyway, so he basically just saved the country from a food shortage during the feud of the gods. He does not mention to her the fact that the man who revived her is one responsible for Fury of the Gods. Yeah, and also Rand fights him in the episode, and then he is defeated. Well, he's not killed per se, but he's basically withdrawn from the country. And then the very next episode, it's on to Rand's country. Well, Ria's country, where her country is controlled by a ninja, Goma. And there's a competition, and, well, she is trying to be an idol. We actually, at one point in the episode, she actually, well, stops wearing her mask that she wears. She's even asked by the moth creature why in the world she wears a mask. I'm like, that is interesting. No one's ever questioned her about that. And then she stops wearing it. And shows the fact that, yes, hiding her face on her mask was a mistake, because this woman's got a beautiful face. And I tend to question this. Why in the world would she hide it for? And later on, she shows off her assistant, basically her face, and they kind of rotate the country by the end of the episode. So, the very next episode, they actually form a plan to take down, well, the person who took over Yasha's country. So, basically they destroy his computer, but he's able to get the thing back. Plus, oh, by the way, also interesting to know about this episode 30. At this point, you probably noticed something about these episodes 35, 38. There's no Megazord fights, none. And you're thinking, why is not Megazord fights in the past few episodes? Well, on screen reason why, because basically Kurogi, the one who's the Zord for the Ranger, he got injured. His Zord got damaged when they were coming back to Terra from Earth. So that's the main reason why. Even though they had a Megazord fight in every episode, but I think behind the scenes the reason why, because maybe at this point, I think maybe Toei was getting stingy on the money spent on the Megazord fights. So, and probably also that the suit actors probably needed a break for a few episodes. Because Jelly put a rule for a Sentai series. Jelly put most of the whole series features Megazord fights. And after 34, there will not be a Megazord fight until episode 40. So yes, for a period of 7 straight episodes, there's no Megazord fight. The other case is one. So they finally plan to take her down by using this ultra computer that he somehow stored. And they all got pieces of this thing. And, well, and so then, of course, basically, like, the country, basically, by the end of the episode, is liberated. But here's the thing. At one point, during the episode, they unlock the limiters with these big, like, power-up boosts for this episode. Which, if it fails, basically could kill them. And they use it. And supposedly, they kill Iromi. But no. Then, of course, he does a substitution. And you're thinking, wait a minute. Why is he taking the girl's place? And then he gets killed. Yeah, this death was complete random. It seemed random, but it was actually pre-planned in story. Because Hiomi, the one who's the female jester, she had made a request of him, thanks to hypnotic power, to dive, something like that, dive for her, and he's like, okay. And thinks nothing of it. He doesn't name mentioned. And then he dies. And then the Galactica gets visited by Regulus, who requests to take the open position in the 5 jesters. And the other jesters are shocked the fact to hear this. And of course uses a footrest. And it turns out the ninja's death was actually, this is where they find that it was actually preordained. And it was Kurogi's idea for this to, well, basically he kind of helped this, though the Rangers didn't know about this. So basically by the end of the episode, he's named the replacement, and with him gone, basically, well, of the original 5 jesters, there's only 4 left. And it's going to be a bit of a while before I get a chance to get rid of a lot of these characters. Yep. But it's kind of a good thing I stopped with episode 39. Because episode 40, pretty much in a way, begins the prelude to the end of the series. When I get back, there'll be a very special episode basically coming up really soon when it comes to this particular set of characters. But it's going to be interesting. Yep. But really enjoyable episode, yes. I mean, if you look at it, basically, like, of these 4 episodes, like, mostly put 36 was basically Sevis's backstory. That is mostly put the whole purpose of 36. Was basically his backstory. You're like, that's interesting. Yes. So like each character gets basically a character episode of these batch. Yes, 36 is for Sebas. 36 for Sebas. 37 is Kurogi. 38 is mostly focused on Rita, but doesn't do any character boost for her aside from other stuff. 39 is the best way to describe 39, like I mentioned with the whole plot. It's like the end of this arc while leading into basically the prelude to the end of the very story. Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I'm not going to just yet per se. No, I'm actually something quite different. Well, first of which I'm going to do a comic corner next, and then pretty much basically right after I do the comic corner, then pretty much basically the very next thing to do is going to be well, Blue Exorcist. I'm gonna knock that out of the way tonight and do another comic corner after that, as we're going to review that, and then I'll move on to Case Close and then go back to this one. So at this point, we have 11 more to go. Yep, 11 more. Yep. So that's pretty much it. Particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. Well, oh, by the way, before I end this too, basically Kurogi's his predecessor, she had previously appeared in Adventure Heaven movie. This actually was her first appearance in the main series, outside of a flashback. You're like, really? Yes, really. Because Hiroki, that is her name, she made her debut in that movie. And here, she makes her first appearance in the main show. Oh, don't worry, she'll be back in the penultimate episode, which we'll get back to. We'll get to that eventually. Don't worry about that. Yep, so I had to mention that too here. So, she's not been the only character return from the movies, but the first movie, we'll get to that later on. So, I'll see you in the next video of Comic Corner. Bye.